Hello and welcome to the Real Estate Sales Mastery TV. I'm your host, Chadi Bazzi, a real estate coach and trainer, and I'm on a mission to help you master the art of selling so you can take more listings than you are right now, sell more homes much faster than you ever have, work less, and build a business by design. A business you absolutely love that gives you the money, time, and freedom that you deserve. Are you ready? Let's do this. All right, so we're finally on the inside right here, sitting down with my great buddy, my great friend, mentor, Venny Saucedo. And on this episode of Real Estate Success Mastery TV, what I want to do is just take you on the inside and let you see the truism, the reality of what it's like to be at a specific phase or a specific stage in your business, in your life, and it doesn't matter where you're at, to be able to get to the point where you are like literally living the life of your dreams. And in thinking of who do I have in my network that I can share with you that will share all of that truly and freely and unscripted, the first person that came to mind is Venny. So Venny Saucedo, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
And Venny, we're just gonna, just go off the cuff, no scripts, nothing, and just talk about anything and everything to help out as many people as we possibly can today. Okay?
Sounds good.
So Venny, let's begin by you tell us, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who do you work for? Where do you work, etc.
Okay. My name is Venny Saucedo. I work out of Century 21 All Stars in the city of Pico Rivera, California. And I've been there since the year 2000. Okay,
so we're roughly 14 years in the real estate business?
Correct.
Okay. And I'm just curious, what did you do before you got involved in real estate, and why did you get involved in real estate?
Well, originally I was in the supermarket industry. I worked for them for 14 years, and I used to manage stores. I worked for a local big store for Ralph's Supermarkets. I started as a kid at 15 years old, and then I managed an independent chain in the downtown LA area known as Numero Markets.
Okay.
And so I came into the business out of default. Actually, I was going to be a federal agent. Graduating out of college, I studied to become either a DEA agent or a Secret Service agent, or I would consider the FBI. And so when I graduated and I was going through the background with the Secret Service, I was almost going to get hired on, and there was a sudden freeze on hiring with all the federal agencies. And so what changed my way of thinking is at that time, I was already kind of doing investing and buying flip properties. There were agents that were bringing me deals, and at that time, it was houses in South Central and in Compton. And I particularly had one property. I remember it was on 134th and Wilmington Avenue in the city of Compton, of all cities. And the agent had brought this property. We rehabbed it, put it on the market, and we could not sell it. Mind you, I was working at the supermarket. I had one kid already here, and I had the next one coming. And I had mortgage payments and card payments. And this guy could not get the house sold, so I was making my mortgage payment plus this mortgage payment on the side. It was kind of tough. And so I started getting frustrated, and I told him, hey, if you don't move this property, I'm going to get out there and I'm going to sell it myself, kind of joking around. And I actually had my wife at that time, who worked as an office manager for Century 21 All Stars, to prepare some flyers for me to go out and door knock the neighborhood and talk to people about selling this house. I had never done anything with real estate. I went out there one morning. I knocked on doors for about an hour. On the same street, I found the person that wanted to buy the house. We set an appointment. I didn't know what to do. I called my wife. Well, she was, at that time, she was at the office. I called her and I said, hey, what do I do? These people want to buy it. And she said, set an appointment. Have them come in. I didn't know what to ask them to bring, so she tells me, she coached me and told me, tell them to bring, their paperwork, whatever. So that afternoon at 5 o'clock, the husband and wife show up to the office. We pre-qualify them, and I didn't even know what I was doing. And we wrote the offer and sold the house the same day. That was the first time I ever tried anything in real estate. And I thought, you know what? This is a piece of cake. I can do this all day long, and these guys make a lot of money. And I truly believed it, that it was easy. And I got into it because a few years later, the Secret Service federal agencies were still not hiring, and then I kind of leaned towards, you know what, I can do this. And at that time I was unhappy working at the supermarkets because I was working from 48 hours a week when I started to a year and a half later I was working about 75 hours a week, and that's very frustrating when you have a newborn and you have another one on the way and you don't see them because you leave the house when they're asleep and you get home when they're asleep. And I just thought, you know what, this isn't a life for me, this isn't what I want to do, maybe I'll try this real estate thing. And I took a leap of faith, and I knew that I was going to do well, and look, you know, 14 years later, thank God I made that decision.
Oh, like they say, the rest is history, huh?
That's right.
Wow, so Vinny, you were gonna go into the legal department,
Right.
you know, possibly, you know, CIA, FBI agent, etc.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, you have a property that you bought to flip, etc. The real estate agent couldn't get it sold.
Right.
And you're like, what is going on here? I mean, selling real estate is like a piece of cake, right?
I believed it. I mean, I really believed in my heart that this is a piece of cake. And these guys who used to be, some of our friends, they used to be gardeners, they used to be landscapers, and you know, they were making $200,000 a year then in the early 2000s. And I thought, you know what, that's a lot of money.
All right, so there's something very important here that I want to talk about, okay? You said this is a piece of cake.
Yeah.
And let's fast forward 14 years later. Is this really still a piece of cake?
You know what it is? It's very much a piece of cake, but what made it a piece of cake for me is the fact that I was coached and mentored for about maybe 12 years of those 14. So I always had someone, and I invested a lot of money in my education in real estate. Is I paid a lot of money. I invested probably, I could say, about $250,000, Chadi, in coaching, seminars, trips, all to educate and teach myself a lot of stuff and surround myself with the right people. And that, in my opinion, is what helped me and separates me from a lot of people. So my goals in April, as I was saying, is the most amount of houses that I had ever sold was 22 homes in a month. In a month. And so a friend of mine inspired me because he said, hey, I put 15 deals together last month. And I said, wow, that's pretty good. That's damn good. Not too many people can do that. And so I challenged myself to do 25 in April of this year, because I said, if I've done 24, then I can do 25. And today is April 28th, and I'm at 20. I'm shy of that 25, but that's pretty darn good, considering I just committed to it and I said it's going to happen, and boom, it's happening.
That is very, very, very good. So, and I know there's a lot of people that can't even fathom that, because there's a lot of people that are, you know, really saying to themselves, how do I get to, you know, 20 transactions a year, not in a month? And here you are, you know, you declare that you're going to do 25 transactions. It's not quite the end of the month yet, and you're at 20. You probably have a couple of, you know, outstanding offers, etc. You may hit it, you may not, but it doesn't matter. What you did is you actually declared, you set an intention for what it is. You made a commitment for what it is that you want to accomplish in pushing yourself out there. Now, there's something that I noticed on Facebook, okay? And I want to talk about this as well, too. And how I knew that you were going to do 25 transactions is that I saw a post at the beginning of the month on Facebook that says, I'm committed to helping out 25 families buy or sell a home this month.
Right.
And I was like, wow, I think he can do it. And I definitely want to meet with him at the end of the month to see if he actually did it or not, etc. And here we are.
Right.
But what I'm trying to get to is there a reason why you posted that on Facebook? I'm thinking there's some kind of a reason. I don't want to talk about it. I want to see if we're both on the same, you know, mental wavelength here.
Absolutely, 100% without a doubt. The reason I put it on Facebook is because that's how I declared it to the world, is to let everyone know, because people would think twice about doing that because they don't want to look bad in the eyes of others if they don't accomplish it. And to me, I'm okay with whether I accomplish it or not, because I know that it was going to happen. I know without a doubt. I just didn't know how, because I didn't have 25 leads. But what was amazing is the very next day I got a call from one of my past clients that said, hey, I took these listings from this other agent. He's not performing. I want to give them to you. I said, how many are there? He said 4. So that was a great start the very next day.
Love it. So you kind of said along the line of, by putting it out there in different words, it kind of created accountability between you and all your friends on Facebook, etc.
Right. That's exactly right, because you responded to that post saying, I know you can do it. And other people said, hey, great job. That'll be awesome. Wow, I can't believe you could do, you know, that many. That's amazing. And so it was the support. And I had like that I call it the on and off switch. And that on switch was on for me because I knew I was excited, and I shared with my wife, I shared with my kids. And so guess what? The accountability was at the highest level I could have it. Every morning the kids were like, Dad, time for work. 25 contacts. Why? Because they know if I perform at that level, they can have experiences that people only dream of.
And you know, I want to speak a little bit about that. You know, somebody told me a long time ago that if there's anything that you want to do and you're afraid to do it, or you're afraid that you might fail at it, or it just might not work out the way that you want it to work out, simply tell the world about what it is that you're up to. Simply tell the world what it is that you're up to, because then the world is going to hold you accountable to being a certain way, to showing up a certain way. And I'll give you an example, Vinny. You know, I think all of us have multiple personalities. I think we all have multiple personalities. And in the presence of certain people, we act and behave and perform a specific way. Right. Like, you know, when I am in the presence of you, when I am in the presence of, you know, our buddy Kevin Sturdivant, or our, you know, other mastermind buddy, you know, Danny Morell or Jason, right. When I'm in your presence, when I'm in that environment, I am like the most powerful version of me that I could ever be. Right. Okay, so now there are other people in my life, and when I am in their presence, I am not that powerful. And I think the reason being is because, you know, they see me a different way, and I begin to act accordingly. But how people see you and perceive you is as a result of how you put yourself out there. So in essence, you created the accountability by saying, who I am is someone that is going to help 25 families buy or sell a home in the month of April. That created not only an accountability, but that created a way for the world to see you, a way for the world to perceive you, and all of a sudden, that right there created, I would think, and correct me if I'm wrong, a new set of maybe disciplines or specific actions for that month to help you go from wherever you've been to wherever you're getting to.
Right. Actions is exactly what it is, because it inspired me to take action I normally wouldn't take. Mm-hmm. Because we're all comfortable in the business, and sometimes I only have 5 sales, and sometimes, you know, I'll have 10, and sometimes I'll have 2, and it just depends on what commitment I have. And sometimes I'm very comfortable. It's easy to fall into the comfort zone, but I know that I have the ability to do that. And when I decided to, if you notice, the declaration was to help 25 families. So my mission in life is to commit to help as many people as I possibly can. In the end, I'm rewarded with my goals. And so that's how it works. The goal was not about how much money I want to make. The goal was not about how many sales I want to make. The goal was about how many people I want to help.
Exactly. And that's the whole entire thing. And I think, you know, prior to turn on the camera, we were kind of talking about that. How most people are of the mindset of ask and you shall receive kind of thing. Yep. And then, you know, what we are accustomed to, how we do it differently, is more about give and you shall receive. And, you know, you wanted to give, you know, your support and your expertise and your contribution to 25 families.
That's right.
And then the end result is, you know, you receiving the next day 4 contracts.
Right.
Crazy. All right, Vinny, you're obviously in a very good place in your business right now. And that's, you know, 14 years of doing whatever you had to do to get to this point. My question to you is, in the beginning, when you made the transition from, you know, the supermarket to real estate, because there's someone watching this video right now that's maybe working, you know, somewhere, you know, they have a job, they're about to make that transition, or they're, you know, dibbling and dabbling in real estate on a part-time basis because they just can't let go of, you know, whatever source of income they have right now. Right. Tell me, was it difficult for you to make that transition? How did you go about making that transition? And what advice would you give to someone who's like on the fence?
Well, see, here's the thing. I put myself out there, and what I mean by that is that when I put myself out there is that I said, you know what would be the absolute worst case scenario if I go out and try this out and it doesn't work out? Well, I answered myself. I said, I'd be right back in the same position. I'm sure the company would hire me back in a second because I was good at what I was doing then. And I said, you know what, the worst case is if I try it out, this doesn't work out, I go back to where I used to be. And that's it. But I was so committed to doubling my income the first year that I said, I'm going to make this happen. I sold the house the first time I ever tried. And I said, if I can do that, then I can do it every single day. And I went out there with that expectation of being committed to helping people every single day. And it didn't stop me from doing it. And sure enough, I did. My first year, I doubled my income.
Good
because I expected it.
Good for you. So, and that's exactly, you know, if you're watching this video or if you're listening to this on audio, etc., what I would love for you to do is really pause and write down the following as a thought, because let me tell you what the thought is. I want you to write down the following. Write down, I become what I expect of myself. I become what I expect of myself. And, you know, as you're saying that, I recall a time in my life where maybe like 13, 14 years ago, I actually had that written on my mirror in the bathroom. And I'd see that like every single day. Because, you know, where do we go when we first wake up in the morning? Most of us go to the restroom. I'd go to the restroom and I'll immediately see that it says, you become what you expect of yourself. And then I immediately set an expectation for the day. And Vinny, I kid you not, during those days, there's days where the expectation would be, you know, I expect of myself to set and go on an appointment that day. I had no appointment, okay? But I created that expectation. All of a sudden, I was taking a specific set of action. And then I remember, you know, somebody else said, well, hey, why don't you play around with your expectations and make it a little bit easier since you've already programmed yourself to achieve whatever you expect of yourself. Right. And then one morning, I woke up and I said, I expect a lay down today. What's a lay down? A lay down is like, you know, somebody calling you out of the blue and saying, hey, you know, I want to write up an offer on a house. Or, you know, I know somebody wants to sell their house, go list it, etc. And sure enough that day, you know, call it magic, call it the law of attraction, call it whatever, I got a call from somebody that said, we want to sell our house. Will you list our house? Right. So the expectation is huge. So everyone write that down. You become what you expect of yourself, and every single day set those expectations. So you expected yourself to double your income, you did, and something else you said is you played the game of, you know, what is the worst case scenario? Right. What is the worst case scenario? So you know what, I'm gonna challenge everyone that's, you know, watching this interview right now, that's listening to it, maybe in their car, etc., to write down that question. Based on whatever it is that you want to accomplish this year, next year, 5 years, 10 years from now, the question is, what is, if I went for it and I didn't achieve it, what is the case, the worst case scenario? What is the worst case scenario? What is it? Whatever it is, write it down, and then that becomes reality. Because usually, you know, we don't even ask ourselves what is the worst case scenario. We actually create a worst case scenario that's even worse than what reality would be. And that's exactly what stops a lot of people from going out there and achieving the kind of success that they should.
Exactly.
So Vinny, in trying to build up your real estate career, I'm sure you've encountered challenges, obstacles, maybe days where you just felt like you don't want to go to work, you just wanted to give up, etc. Have you ever experienced that? And if you did, tell us what it was maybe, and how did you work through that?
I think the biggest challenges was to stay inspired and to stay committed to what your goals are and stuff. And for me, my big commitment was for family, because I chose when I came into this business that I would be there for my children, for baseball, for soccer, for recitals, for dance, whatever it was that they had, I wanted to always be involved. I was either a coach or an assistant coach or team parent, or always helping. And so what has allowed me to do that is, the most important thing is to surround yourself with people who will bring you up and help you out and support you to go to the next level. And I've always surrounded myself with people like that, like yourself, like Danny Morrell, like Kevin Sturdivant, like Jason Lucero. And so we all have downs. We all have downs. But when you have support like that and you have accountability, you have shorter downs than most people. Some people will be in downs for years, months, for their entire life. Depression. And so when you have that support, it'll be a day, it'll be 2 days, maybe a week. But you'll snap out of it because you're in constant communication with these people, and they remind you what your commitment is, and they also help you get over some of these things when sometimes we dig our holes deeper than what they really are, and we make things worse than what they are. So surround yourself with good people, yourself with people that are going to support you and push you beyond your norm and help you out of jams when you're in jams. And when I say jams, it's things that you think may be a jam that really are something quite simple.
Okay, so basically it's playing around with your environment, internally and externally.
Correct.
Okay, and what a difference that makes is, you know, like, you know, one of the things that you said is that your breakdowns are shorter.
Yes.
Because you have the support and you have the accountability.
Right.
You have someone that you can call, and or that someone's calling you because, you know, they know what commitment you got going on. Like in the case of us, you know, we had a mastermind group.
Right.
You know what, why don't you talk a little bit about that mastermind group? How important is it to be a part of a mastermind group?
Absolutely. Probably the most important part of my success is being part of a mastermind group at all times. We even have a couples mastermind group that we kind of put together. And so I remember when we started our group, you know, like 12 years ago, we used to be on the phone, if you remember, at 4:29 in the morning. The reason it was at 4:29 in the morning is we found out that most successful people, millionaires, billionaires, people that run the world, were up at 5 a.m. or at 4:30 even. And so we said, we're going to beat them to it and be up at 4:29. And we would be on a telephone conversation. All 5 of us would be on the phone doing our affirmations or what our commitments for the day were. 5 days a week, guys. We would do it every single day from Monday through Friday. And we were on the phone at that time, on the way to the gym, or on our way to whatever started our day, whether it was meditation, prayer, the gym, whatever it is that you started your day with. But it's so powerful when you hear other people give you their commitments and you're like, you know what? I changed that. I'm going to change it to 10 sales because Danny's doing 10, I can do 10, you know, or whatever it was. We always challenged ourselves, and it was so amazing to be a part of that, because that's what's going to take your life to the next level. And I don't just say in business, in life, in relationship with friends and everything. It really is truly the most amazing thing you can do, because you get to know these people and they become your best friends, they become family. And that's why we're here, you know, 13, 14 years later almost.
That's right. That's right. And, you know, 13, 14 years later, you know, you being in the business for 14 years, I'm sure there's been a lot of changes in the real estate industry.
Absolutely.
In the way that you do business.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what are some of the changes that you had to, you know, make in your life, maybe in your business, in order for you to continue to grow your business?
Okay, when I started in the business, I think, and was always a big thing for me, was to door knock. I used to door knock 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, which was 15 hours a week. So that's, you know, what is it, 60 hours a month of hitting doors. I didn't realize this at the time. I was doing it because I knew that I could get business that way, and it was very good for me. But at the same time, minute by minute, door by door, I was becoming a more powerful presenter, better and better at my scripts, better and better at what I was doing, because I was sharpening my skills every single minute of the day. And aside from those 3 hours, I used to role play half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the afternoon, which is an additional, you know, 5 hours a day, 20 hours a month. And I did that for many years. And so all of that is what's going to help you take your business to the next level, is committing to stuff like that.
So what would you, so obviously you commit to, you know, the study of, you know, learning the art of persuasion, the art of influence, mastering, you know, your skill sets. What would you say is the single most important skill that one must master in order for him to, you know, do more business?
Your presentation. If you invest enough time in your presentation to learn it, a canned presentation that you can do, whether the house is $100,000 or $500,000 or $1 million or $10 million, if you can do that presentation and just get through that and know what to say, you'll do perfectly fine, because you'll be 100% confident that you'll get that listing when you show up for the appointment. And setting the appointments is much easier, and going out to prospect is much easier because you know what to say. And the reason people don't succeed in this business is they don't spend enough time practicing and preparing themselves and learning the scripts and learning what to say and sharpening the presentation to be able to succeed in life. So they will think twice about setting an appointment, because they're already concerned that they're not going to get it before they even set it. So sometimes they won't call a for sale by owner, or they won't call an expired, or they won't call that hot lead because they're afraid that they don't know what to say. And it stops so many people in this industry.
You're absolutely right. I couldn't agree with you anymore. You know, and I'm reminded right now of, you know, the first listing appointment I've ever set. I remember in Dearborn, Michigan, a suburb of Detroit, My first listing appointment came after about maybe 1,500 contacts to get that first appointment. And I remember when I first got that appointment, I was so excited, man. I called up my mom, my dad, my uncles, my aunts, my friends, you know, my 7 siblings, and I did the song and the dance. I got an appointment, yay, hip hop hooray. And then after I got done making all those phone calls, fear set in. Fear set in. You know, my mind went from, you know, I just hit the jackpot to, hey man, well, what are you gonna do? All right, so you know how to fill out the paperwork. Well, what if they ask you a question that you can't answer, right? Well, what if they give you this thing that, you know, you've been hearing about called objection? Well, what are you gonna do? So guess what I did?
What'd you do?
I never showed up to that listing appointment. I never showed up to that listing appointment on Ann Arbor Trail. I still remember it.
Wow.
Okay, and that's what I really knew, that I had to learn the art of presenting. So I couldn't agree with you anymore that the presentation is one of the single most important skills that one must master in order for themselves to put themselves out there to do the lead generation. All right, so what about as far as let's go to lead generation now. So you know, you obviously do the door knocking. What else do you do to generate business? Like this month you did 20, you know, some deals. Where did all these deals come from?
Well, see, here's the thing. I do things a little different. I won't make 100 contacts or 50 contacts a day. I call people that I've done business in the past with, like past clients or Sphere or people I know or investors. And I get a lot of business by calling and presenting a great opportunity to people. Okay. Now look, there are a lot of people who are not on the market to buy a house or an investment property. But when you present something that very few can come across, all of a sudden everyone's interested, or they know someone that's interested, or they'll help you find someone that's interested. And that's the difference. Is I don't call and just ask if they want to buy or sell. I bring something of value, which is a listing that I have, or a good deal that's on the market right now, or something that I can bring to them. Or if they have a duplex that brings $2,000 a month in income, I bring them a fourplex that brings $5,000 a month. And that same equity is going to be rolled into something that now is going to double their amount of income monthly. And all of a sudden they're like, damn, I should have done this a long time ago. And so things like that, the way you present everything and the way you paint the picture to your client is going to make all the difference in the world. And you'll get a lot more people that are going to be buying and selling from you.
I'm going like, listen to this guy. He sounds like an expert. And that's, you know, the way I look at it is the more of an expert that you are, the more value that you can give.
Right.
So Vinny, how does one become an expert so they can give more value?
Well, first of all, you have to sharpen your skills, sharpen your presentation, invest in yourself. Get training, get coached. You can't do it on your own. It'll take you 20 years to do what you can do with a coach in 5 years or 3 years or 2 years. So it's an investment that you'll make in yourself that will help you generate so much money. Like I said, I've invested maybe about $250,000 in coaching. But over the years, I've made a heck of a lot more than that. And I've made months where I've made that. So I couldn't have done it without the coaching, without the support, without mentors and people in my life. So you've got to sharpen your skills. You've got to be committed. You've got to have goals. And more important, you have to have faith that you're going to do well.
So Vinny, I know you've already mentioned it in bits and pieces, but if we got someone right now, you know, who's watching this or listening to this, and let's say they just want to increase their production by 1 deal a month, 2 deals a month, or 3 deals a month, whatever it is. They're looking for a formula. Okay. So they're looking for 1, 2, or 3 things that they can begin to take action on, like immediately, that will impact their business in the next 30, 60, 90 days. What 1, 2, or 3 things would you tell that person to do right now that are reasonable and doable?
So I think the most important thing for someone is to role play, practice that listing presentation. You're going to read it as fast as you can. You should be able to finish it in 1 minute, 2 minutes, and when you're done, that's it. You're done for the day. If you want, in the afternoon, you can role play with someone else, get a partner, and you role play for 30 minutes, have them give you objections, and then you practice the objections and you change your partners like we used to do. We used to change partners every 2 months, every month. And then when you change partners, you hear new objections from new people.
New perspectives.
And you want to role play with people who know what they're doing. Get the good people that know what they're doing. top coaching clients from Chadi or whatever, trust me, you will take yourselves and help each other go to the next level real fast. In a month, you will notice a difference, and it will inspire you to take action that normally you wouldn't.
I agree. So step number one is obviously master your presentation.
Yes.
What's action item number two that someone can take on to help them grow their business, add an extra deal or two to their production every single month?
You know, I've always told people, and some people don't agree with me, but it doesn't really matter. If you go in front of people door knocking, start at an hour a day, 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day. When you can go to 3 hours a day and you're talking to people every single day, you will, like I said, by the minute become a better presenter, sharper agent. You'll know what to answer. You'll be able to answer on the fly. You'll have answers for anyone, anytime, anywhere, any place. And when you can do that, you're at a new level that few agents can reach.
So basically, in other words, number one is build up your skill set. Number two, put yourself out there. So in your case, you're saying 1, 2, 3 hours of doing door knocking
Per day, correct.
per day. And if they wanted to, they can do the phones.
Correct. If they want to hit the phones, they do the phones. Absolutely.
So it doesn't matter what how you want to go about it. Just don't sit there and wait for the phone to ring. Go out there and do something to be face to face, belly to belly. Talk to somebody about doing a transaction or helping you find someone to do a transaction with.
Right.
Is there a number three, Vinny?
You know what? You just said if you do the phones, do the phones. I'm going to go back to number two and ask those that hit the phones, go hit the doors for 30 minutes around your listings or around a sharp listing or around one of your just sold, just to see what happens. Because if you're great on the phones, that's phenomenal, but get in front of people. Let them get to know you. Get out there. Let them know, put the face with the sign and who it is that's selling that house or just sold the house. Get that credibility of the community. Get involved in the community. I think that's probably going to be number three, is get involved in, let your little league, when you coach or an assistant coach or you show up as a team parent or you show up to your kid's practice, wear your shirt that has your company name. Let people know what you are, that you're an agent and not a secret agent, because then you're going to become the go-to person at the school, at Boy Scouts, at Little League, at soccer or whatever it is. They're going to know you're the guy in the business or the person in the business, and they will come to you with questions. You'll be amazed by just wearing the shirt that says whatever your company's logo is, a polo shirt, to a practice or to a Little League game on a Saturday. You'd be amazed how people approach you and start asking questions. Don't be surprised if you get a listing or a sale out of it immediately.
I agree with you. And sometimes, the way I heard it from you is, don't assume that it is not going to work for you. It's like Vinny is saying, I challenge you to go out there and just experience what it's going to be like.
Exactly.
Just, put yourself through that experience for a good 30 minutes and then decide whether it's something that you should pursue or not before you automatically say, no, that's not me. I'm already doing good here. I'm already doing good there, whatever. Just go out there, put yourself out there for 30 minutes and generate that experience. And based on that experience, make a decision whether it's right for you or not. And one of the things that, I heard a long time ago that I absolutely love is there's no right or wrong way to generate a lead, as long as you are going out there to generate a lead. Now, what about technology, Vinny? Is there like an application that you use or any form of technology that you use nowadays that's helping you in your business? I mean, for some people, they're using 1 to 10. Some people are not using any. It doesn't matter. Do you use any technology that you would have our viewer go out there and check out?
You know what? I sat with our title company and the mortgage lender that I work with, because they're a part of my team and they help me close deals. I sat with them and brainstormed about one of the best things out there, and I use something really simple. It's called Realty Juggler. It's very inexpensive, and you can send emails to your clients, postcards, whatever it is. And when you manage that properly, or your Facebook is another thing I do. I don't put a whole lot on there, but I put hot properties, and you'll be amazed. You'll get messages from people you don't know that are interested in it or know someone that's interested in it. Again, the whole thing is to put yourself out there. I don't have any other special apps or gadgets or anything like that I use. That's pretty much it.
You've mentioned Realty Juggler. I've never personally used Realty Juggler, but I do endorse it for my coaching clients. They absolutely love it. It's very, very, very inexpensive.
Yes.
And I believe they give you a 30-day free trial. So
yeah.
Check it out, realtyjuggler.com. And then, obviously use Facebook, and that's pretty much it for technology.
That's pretty much it.
Awesome. All right, any final words of wisdom?
You know what? Don't be afraid to declare high goals and just go after them. And always remember that your worst case scenario is if you try it and it doesn't work out, you'll just be right back here where you are right now. That's the worst case. You're not going to die. No one's going to hate you. Nothing's going to happen. You just go back to square one.
So go for it. Go for it. So Vinny,
absolutely.
if somebody has a referral for you, wants to connect with you, you know, you're obviously what marketplace do you work, and then how can they connect with you via Facebook, send you a referral, or just simply connect with you? How can they connect with you?
Okay, I work Southeast LA County, Los Angeles County. I work Orange County also. You can connect me. You can call me or shoot me a text at 562-824-8840.
Expect the phone to ring.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook also, Venny Saucedo, Venny Saucedo, and I'll be happy to contribute any way I can.
Love it, brother. You rock. Thank you very much for the contribution. Thank you very much for the love and the support. And connect with us, on Facebook, Venny Saucedo. And make sure to, if you enjoyed this interview and want to see more interviews like that, make sure you go to realestatesuccessmastery.com and be sure to leave us a review on iTunes. Thank you very much. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.